Right now at 6, a Portland man with a history of violence pleads guilty to arson. Then, reflecting on lessons learned a year after the ice storm that disrupted lives and brought the region to a standstill. Plus, animal lovers in the Northwest answer the call to help pets displaced by the California wildfires.
I had to say yes, because I want to do something, right?
And how removing an old dam in Milwaukee could help fish and people thrive.
This has been a project that frankly actually should have been done in 1890 by one guy with a mule and a box of dynamite.
Good evening. David Molko here with you tonight. We want to get right to breaking news in Washington County, where we have just learned moments ago that a Banks High School teacher has been arrested, accused of having sexual contact with a student. This afternoon, sheriff's deputies say they arrested 66-year-old Wyman Smith, a math teacher at Banks High. Authorities say on January 7th, the district was made aware of allegations made by a student against Smith and immediately put him on leave. The district alerted the sheriff's office the following day. Deputies say they arrested Smith this afternoon on charges of second-degree sexual abuse and luring a minor. Detectives allege Smith also had sexually inappropriate conversations on campus with students and believe there may be more victims. Anyone with information should call the Washington County Sheriff's Office. We, of course, will keep you posted. We continue at 6 now with a Portland man accused of setting a UPS facility on fire and who has now pleaded guilty to arson. Investigative reporter Kyle Leboshi has been following his case. Kyle, sounds like the deal means 10 days in jail and 3 years probation. What do we know about this guy?
Well, the 25-year-old Portland man has a history of protest violence, including prior convictions for setting fires, smashing windows, and helping create a video threatening the city's mayor. A Portland anarchist pleaded guilty to helping set fire to a UPS facility in North Portland. As part of a plea deal, a judge sentenced Jared Huber to 10 days in jail and 3 years probation. In January of 2023, police and firefighters responded to a UPS center on Swan Island after reports of multiple broken windows and fire damage from road flares. According to court records, DNA from blood found on the broken windows matched Huber's profile in a state database. His DNA was added after a prior conviction. Following his arrest, Huber told police he and a group of unknown people targeted UPS to protest the company's support of a police training facility near Atlanta, Georgia. Huber has a history of protest violence. In 2021, he helped create a video threatening then Portland Mayor Ted Wheeler, leading to a conviction for harassment. He was also found guilty of arson, criminal mischief, and riot after helping start a trash fire in a dumpster pushed against the Multnomah County Justice Center during protests in May of 2021. He smashed windows and spray-painted anarchist symbols on buildings in downtown Portland, police said. Huber was described as an anarchist member by prosecutors after his arrest in November 2022 for allegedly pushing a dumpster in the street outside City Commissioner Rene Gonzalez's election night party. Those charges were later dismissed. In a plea hearing last week, Huber's defense lawyer explained.
I think he went through a period of time around the period of the George Floyd killing that set his thoughts about social justice in the wrong direction.
We weren't able to reach Huber directly. His defense lawyer said his client had no comment.
Kyle Leboshi in the newsroom. Thank you, Kyle. In tonight's headlines, a Montana man will be spending the next 24 years behind bars for killing a Troutdale family of 4 in a crash. Gary and Michelle Rutledge and their 2 teenagers, by the way, were killed in October 2023 on Highway 97 near Redmond. Jesse Ross admitted to taking a mix of cocaine, stimulants, and sedatives while returning to home on a work trip before crashing head-on into the Rutledge's SUV. Ross accepted a plea deal on charges of manslaughter, DUI, and criminally negligent homicide. It is day 5 of the strike by thousands of Providence Health doctors and nurses, and there are signs contract negotiations could resume soon. Today, Providence officials said they are ready to schedule mediated talks with union leaders from the Oregon Nurses Association at all 8 of its hospitals where workers are striking. The union responded by saying its members are ready to move the process forward to reach what they call a fair contract and to end the strike. No word yet on how soon those talks might resume. And Mayor Keith Wilson is ordering all City of Portland managers and supervisors to return to their offices and work sites full time beginning in April. This comes after the mayor backtracked on an effort to wind down hybrid and remote work for all city employees. The new mandate will apply to some 700 non-union managers and supervisors. Mayor Wilson says the change is needed because the city is in crisis.
We have an unsheltered homeless crisis. That's our focus this year. So bringing those supervisors and managers back for that collaboration, that camaraderie to really address the crisis is the most important thing.
The mayor added that he does not anticipate any similar changes for non-managerial staff this year. Matt?
All right, David, thanks very much. You know, we started out very gray with fog and low clouds, but the sun broke through, at least over the Portland area, for a little while. You'll see it kind of gets clouded over again as the sun angle dropped, got low to the horizon. The low clouds began to roll back on in, and that's what we have outside right now. Over Portland, it's 39 degrees. We got into the 40s, but just barely today. This morning, we stayed above freezing, just barely in Hillsborough. And we've got some colder mornings on the way as we go to the weekend and next week. So the last time we dropped to freezing or below was way back on December 9th. In over a month, coldest temperature so far this winter and fall was back on December 2nd. We dropped to 27. And we've only had 7 days where we've been at or below freezing. The average just for November, December is 12. So we're way behind schedule, but we've got several in the 7-day forecast. I'll have that for you in a bit. Meanwhile, a quick check on Southern California. The winds are beginning to ramp up again as another surge of Santa Ana winds goes through the canyons and the mountains and the valleys overnight tonight and into tomorrow. Fire weather warnings into Thursday for some areas, but the winds will begin to back off on Wednesday. By the end of the week, should be calmer, cooler with higher humidity. David?
Little good news on the horizon. Thank you, Matt. Let us talk more about Southern California now, 1 week into those devastating wildfires. Matt touched on the winds, with fire officials saying thankfully today so far there has been little additional fire activity. At the Rose Bowl in Pasadena, the parking lot has been transformed into a base camp of sorts for thousands of fire crews who have converged to help. Officials say 25 people have now died in the Palisades and Eaton fires. More than 12,000 structures have been destroyed, and nearly 90,000 people remain under evacuation orders tonight. I want to bring in Daisy Caballero now. Daisy, we know local fire crews and Red Cross workers are on the ground, though you are focusing on efforts right here to help.
Yeah, specifically when it comes to displaced animals, David. Portland Rescue, One Tail at a Time PDX welcomed 7 dogs to their facility on Sunday, and the community quickly came together to help out, including Amy Vanderbilt, who has fostered in the past. She tells me she decided to take in Griffith here over the weekend because she wanted to help in any way that she could. And what better way to do just that than give a shelter dog a second chance at life right here in Oregon. Griffith is about 2 years old and is such a sweetheart, I can attest to that, full of energy, and is now searching for his forever home.
Really helpless and overwhelmed, and it's unbelievable. I mean, it's like I can't digest everything that's happening right now. It's just too much. So this is probably helping me as much as it's helping a dog, just helping.
And Portland's Memento Mori in Northwest announced today it will be hosting a fundraising event this Sunday from 4 to 8 p.m. at their cafe location. All proceeds will be going to affected animal shelters that burnt down in the Palisades fire. Tickets are going to be $40 each and will include a vegan charcuterie spread, beverages, and desserts, all donated by local businesses. And I'll actually have more on Griffith's story, which you can search on our YouTube page. Back to you, David.
Appreciate it, Daisy. Every little bit helps, and animals part of this too, of course. KGW has teamed up with the Red Cross to support wildfire victims in Southern California. If you have the means, consider donating. Scan that code, look for the links at kgw.com, or donate at any U.S. bank branch. By the way, we're nearing 400 in donations, 400 people together raising nearly $50,000. We have $1,000 donations, $500 donations, $100. Whatever you can donate. I think the minimum's $10 there. Thank you for your generosity and, of course, for your support. We appreciate it. Well, it's been a year since a massive snow and ice storm, remember this, sent trees and power lines crashing down all around the Portland metro, with Lake Oswego one of the spots hardest hit when it came to trunks and branches all over houses. Libby Dowse is live in the Mountain Park neighborhood. Libby, sounds like some folks are still out of their homes there. What's going on?
They are. Right down the street from here, there's a house that's still undergoing repairs. And the family from this house behind me, they had quite the shock when a neighbor's tree came halfway down, crashed into their trees, and just barely almost reached their house.
It was a war zone up there.
Curtis Faldo and his crew at Wind Thin Tree Service have spent months up in this Lake Oswego neighborhood helping families with either decaying roots or trees brought down by the storm 1 year ago.
But some of it was just the wind pressure against trees that were not used to a really hard east wind.
Tuesday, they were removing trees that weren't doing well due to their rotting roots. But right up above this home, Faldo says the neighborhood lost about 20 trees along Del Prado Road.
We heard a lot of noise, things dropping, and then two neighbors across the street both called simultaneously saying, "Get out of your house."
Brian Altman and his family had 2 trees removed when a neighbor's massive tree nearly smashed into his house. Fortunately, the tree became caught up in his own trees that were cabled together for safety.
We're kind of fortunate. There's still homes that people have moved out of that haven't moved back in yet.
Altman said it was Faldo's tree crew that saved the house.
I mean, they were out here that day.
We were like, they're heroes.
1 year later, Altman has a new first-hand perspective on tree thinning in Lake Oswego.
There's some trees that need to be removed, and they probably need to be a little more open and receptive to it.
Clackamas County fire crews say this storm was a doozy, but we're sure to get more just like it.
All we can do is try to prepare. And I mean, we're right up against it too. So if you haven't really been preparing, it's time to hustle.
The Lake Oswego Public Works Department says keep water and food supplies in your home. Make sure your fireplace and furnace are in working order. Avoid trees falling on you or your car by staying off the roads. And Altman says take that warning to heart.
You look back, what do I value in the house? And you go through, you take pictures. What is it I would run out? You watch the fires in LA. What is it you really value? Take note of it and be ready to run when the time comes.
And this is what they tell us. Look for fungus around the base of your tree or the trunk of your tree. And if you're not sure, give a tree service a call. They don't really want to remove trees, even though it's their business. They say they try other techniques to try to save the trees, but it's a lot better than a tree into a house. Back to you.
Not to mention the price tag that could go with the ladder. Libby Dowson, Lake Oswego tonight. Thanks, Libby.